Hi everyone, this is Elena and welcome to another card video. In this video, I will show you how to make this card using the Hero Arts Color Layering Squirrel that was part of my monthly Hero September release. It was one of the add-on kits and it's still available. So I'm starting with the Woodgrain cardstock and the cardstock is white, so I wanted to change the color, so I'm using the Hero Arts Joe ink pad to apply ink directly onto the cardstock to have a custom color wood grain cardstock. So next, I'll set that one on the side to dry, and next I'll stamp the squirrel. So I'm starting with the first layer, and I'm using the Ombré Autumn ink pad. So I'm stamping twice to get a richer and more bold color. So I'm doing two squirrels at once. You can do as many as you like because you already will have everything set up in your MISTI. So in the next step, I will do the second layer, but before that I will just quickly zap the stamp squirrels with my heat tool. So I have nicer and crisper image as the final result. So next I'm positioning the second layer of the squirrel. So making sure that everything lines up. And then I picked it up with the lid of my mini MISTI. Next I'm using the Joe ink pad to stamp that second layer. I'll turn it around and stamp the second squirrel. So I'll just clean up quickly my stamp. And again I'll repeat the process of kind of keeping the squirrel so the ink dries. And then in my last step I'm using the third layer. I'm just lining everything up and I'm picking it up with the lid of the MISTI. And for this layer I'll be using the Cocoa mini ink cube. This ink is not available in full size, so it's just like mini ink cube. It's available in a couple of the packs. So I stamped that twice. So next time what I'm doing, I'm just masking off the squirrel just to have that eye visible there, and I'm just inking with some intense black ink to have that eye more kind of dark and more prominent. So that's the beauty of the MISTI, because you have everything lined up and then you can just do different color stamping. So I'm just quickly heat setting that, kind of drying, and then again I'm cleaning my stamp, but this time I won't remove it, and I didn't move, you see that I didn't move the paper. So I'm applying some Versamark ink a couple times and stamping that squirrel. Next I will add some clear embossing powder. I'm using the ultrafine embossing Hero Arts powder. And I will heat set that. So there we have that one. So for my second squirrel I'm going back in the MISTI. And I'll just stamp with the Cocoa ink cube. This time I won't emboss it. I'm just going over it twice to get a deeper color. So next I'm kind of helping this panel dry using my heat tool. So as it dries, the color gets a little bit lighter. And next, using the coordinating dies, I'll die cut that squirrel. Well, both of the squirrels. So by magic of YouTube, I already have everything die cut. Then I turn my panel to 3 3/4 by 5.5. And then using one of the Circle Infinity dies, I die cut a circle in the middle. Next I'm positioning the die and seeing which sentiment I would like to use. So I'm using a piece of vellum. It's about quarter inch, half an inch wide. And I'll stamp the Nuts About You sentiment. So I'm applying this embossing anti-static tool and then stamping with Versamark. And then I'll emboss it using Hero Arts white embossing powder. So we have that little strip. So to avoid it, avoid using adhesive on the front of my card with the vellum, I'm just folding that the ends are a little, the strip is longer than my panels, so I just folded the ends in the back and adhere it in the back so no adhesive is visible on the front. Next I'm applying some three-dimensional tape on the back to pop that layer up from the, I'm using craft note card from Hero Arts. So I just cover the back using that three-dimensional adhesive mounting tape. I'm hearing that there, and then I'll just add the squirrel. So the back, the bottom, it's a little bit sticking out, so I'll just, using the craft knife, I trim that piece off. Next I'll adhere the squirrel using that, the same mounting tape, so they're in the same level. Okay, I set that aside. Next I'll stamp couple acorns from the same stamp set. I'm using the lightest strip from that Ombré ink. I'll quickly heat set that so it dries, because I'll be doing some embossing after that, so the embossing powder doesn't stick onto the parts that I don't want to be embossed. So I'm using as well the bottom, and I'll use for the bottom, I'm using the darkest from the Ombré. So here I messed that one up. I didn't have it lined up correctly, so I'm stamping it one more time. Then I stamp the bottom using the darkest from that Autumn Ombre, and then I stamped over it with Versamark, and then I applied the ultrafine embossing powder and heat set it. Next I'm just stamping the top, once with the Capo Joe, next with the Versamark ink, and then heat set it, applying embossing powder and heat setting it. Next I will die cut that using the coordinating die and adhere it to my card. So just add a little bit of dimensional tape on the back, adhere that there, and then to finish off my card I'm adding few of the champagne sequins. I'm just picking out the gold ones and positioning them where I want them to be, kind of randomly, and then I'm using a micro tip applicator and some Ranger multi-matte medium to adhere them to my card. And if it's easier for you, you can use tweezers for that. I usually find it easier just to do it with my fingers. So here's the finished card. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my blog. See you soon. Bye!